Start seated, probably with a little something underneath you to give your hips a little lift. You'll begin to turn your head from side to side with your breath. So inhale to center, exhale, turn towards the left. Inhale, center, exhale, turn towards the right. Just making sure your neck has some range of motion. You kind of need it to be able to look around when you're skating. This is just a little check-in. Nothing aggressive. You're not trying to force your head to turn either way. Simply breathing and moving with your breath. The next time that you turn your head to the left, you'll place your left hand down on the floor, tuck your chin down towards your left shoulder, and reach your right fingertips towards the floor at the right. So you can have them up a little bit higher, a little lower to find the kind of sweet spot. And you'll slowly sweep right arm alongside your right ear, palm faces the floor overhead. And slowly bring your right arm back down towards the floor at your right. So you'll move back and forth. You'll turn palm up towards the ceiling as you lift your arm up. And palm down towards the floor as you reach it back down. Again, it's a kind of slow movement. Move along with your breath. Try to let your head and neck be at ease. I'll take one more lift of your right arm up towards the ceiling. And exhale to release your right arm down. Come back up to neutral, so you're not side bending anymore. Turn your head towards the right. Place your right hand on the floor. Tuck your chin down towards your right shoulder. Stretch left fingertips towards the floor, but they're not touching. Then left arm reaches up. Palm down, left arm towards the floor. It doesn't have to actually touch the floor. You're moving in a range of motion that is probably not the full range of motion, and that's fine. Stay a lot less on that side, since we're working on those side bends to the left to stretch out the right obliques. Bring your right arm up to a right angle, and you'll press left hand into right elbow into left hand. So there's an isometric action happening there. You're not pushing one and not the other. And you'll breathe. Press and breathe. Keep that press happening. Continue to steadily breathe. Release your arms. Take fingertips to the floor behind you. Feel your shoulders draw back, center of your chest lift forward. And you'll switch to the other side. Left arm's up at that right angle. Right hand presses against left elbow. Left elbow presses against right hand. Again, press both sides and breathe. Looking for steadiness of breath as you hold this shape, hold this isometric contraction. Release. I'll turn so you can see. You can stay seated exactly as you are on your mat. You'll grab a block or some other thing that's about that size, maybe a thick book, and press your hands into the sides of it. You want to squeeze elbows in towards each other. So keep that little squeeze in of your elbows. They're not popped out to the sides. You'll inhale to extend your arms forward with that squeeze of hands against the block and elbows towards each other. Exhale to bend your elbows. So thumbs come towards your forehead. You're moving slowly, working on building some stability around the shoulders and the back. So you'll move with your breath. Keep that squeeze in both of hands and elbows, even though there's not a block in between your elbows. You've got to have some good stability around the shoulders or things could go horribly awry on the track. So you'll place that block or book down. You might rest your forearms on it. You might rest your forearms on your shins. Come into just a gentle fold here. Let your head hang, give it a little sway from side to side. So that stability is important because our shoulder joint is not particularly stable. That's why we have a lot of range of motion. So you want to make sure the muscles are all doing the work that they're supposed to do to help keep things in place. Even if you take a hit from the side that comes at you from out of nowhere. So you'll come up off your blanket or towel now, roll that up so it's off to the side. You'll grab 2 blocks or 2 books, something that are about the same size. So you want to set them up, one in between your hands, one in between your elbows. And you're squeezing enough against both of them that you can pick them up, like I just did. So you'll start knees down, forearms down. Your head move, take a few rounds of cat-cow. So you'll inhale to lift head and tailbone, exhale to round your spine. You'll move with your breath. It's the up and down with that squeeze again against both blocks. So notice particularly if you keep that squeeze with your elbows. That's where we tend to sometimes lose it. Again, we're looking to build that stability around shoulders, upper back. You'll take a few more rounds moving with your breath. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you'll tuck your toes and lift your knees off the floor and hold here. Lower knees down to the floor if you've lifted them. Hips towards heels. Release that grip on the block between your elbows and let your hands float up off the floor towards child's pose. The block is still in between your hands as you bring your hands towards your upper back. You can rock your head a few times from side to side. Let yourself be and breathe. I'll do a few little movements there. Hands towards upper back, hands towards floor. Move with your breath. And come on up to forearms and knees again. So I'll show you this again from the front so that you can see. You want to set yourself up so that you can squeeze block or books in between your elbows. So if you have a little bit wider shoulders, you might want to use 2 blocks like I'm doing there. You also might want a blanket for underneath your knees. Blankets are awesome. Knees are awesome. Keep your knees happy. Falling on them does enough damage. So now with that squeeze of block or blocks in between your elbows, you'll come to forearms and knees, start to lift your elbows away from the floor, lower them down. So you keep that little squeeze in and keep breathing, keep moving with your breath. So if that is not feeling challenging enough, you might lift up to down dog as you do this. So you'll tuck your toes, lift your knees up off the floor, and lower forearms towards the floor, lift them back up. Again, you're maintaining that squeeze. If you drop the blocks, it's fine. They're just going to fall. You'll pick them back up and start over. And you'll play here. Lower your knees back down to the floor. Take your blocks out of the way and find a child's pose. Arms could drape by your sides this time. Let your head maybe rock from side to side. Your hips might rock from side to side. Don't be shy about getting a little movement in there. Lift up to hands and knees. You'll take your blanket or towel out from underneath your knees and roll it up. So if you want a little something to cushion you still, you can grab something else. So you're going to take that blanket or towel underneath your arm. You might want a block nearby. So palm faces up towards the ceiling. Keep squeezing your elbow towards your side as you drift your right hand out towards the right and bring it back to center. It's a little steady movement side to side. You can do this with the block in your hand to make it a little more something interesting. Or you could do it with a can of soup or a weight or a kettlebell or whatever you would like to put in your hand. So that is side 1. Side 2, get that blanket roll resettled underneath your left arm. Same kind of thing. Moving your arm out towards the side, back to center. A little movement. Doesn't have to be a particularly big movement. It's getting all those little muscles around your shoulder fired up. Again, there could be a block or book or weight in your hand, it's an option. It doesn't have to be that. You'll move 1 or 2 more times with your breath. Place your block weight book down. Unroll your blanket or towel. Get it ready for underneath your knees again. You'll come up to hands and knees to cat-cow. So it's an exhale to round your spine. Inhale to lengthen head and tailbone away from each other. Exhale to round. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to round. Tuck your toes. Want to squeeze your elbows in towards each other as if you were still squeezing against that block or blanket. Lift hips up for downward facing dog. Keep imagining that block in between your elbows so that you get that little squeeze in. You could pedal out your legs. You could rock your head from side to side. You'll step your feet forward to a forward fold. Get that blanket or towel out of the way and come on up to standing. Take your hands to your hips, step your left foot back and set up for warrior 2. You don't just want to hang out with your knee dropping over towards the left. You want to feel your thigh bone plug into your hip socket. So your right glutes are doing some work. It's a good chance to build strength. Your back toes will be turned in a little bit. And that's great. Let your hips move. Use your muscles to help support you. Open your arms up to warrior 2. Flip your front palm up, reach up to reverse your warrior, and then take right arm behind your back. Look towards your left foot. Or you might let left ear rest towards your left shoulder. Find the sweet spot for your neck. Let your right shoulder get that little roll back. Your neck get a little release on the right side. Reach your right hand up, bring right forearm to right thigh. Now left arm comes behind your back as you spin your torso away from the floor. Feel openness across front of your chest and both shoulders. And you might let your right ear rest towards your right shoulder or look down towards the floor. Let your neck be free. You want it to be able to move. It's not your neck's job to hold you in balance. That goes for on the mat here and when you're skating. You'll switch sides, step right foot back, left foot forward, open your arms up. Make sure you get that plug of left hip back in this hip socket. Reach up to reverse warrior, left arm behind your back. Look towards your right foot or let right ear rest towards your right shoulder. And we're looking for the neck to be able to move, your legs, your abdominals, your back muscles are doing the support and strength, not your neck. Neck gets to move. Left forearm to left thigh, right arm behind your back. Again, reset your hips if you need to. Could let your chin rest towards your left shoulder or left ear towards your left shoulder. And breathe steadily here. Let yourself rest at the neck, then hands up to hips. Step right foot forward to join your left. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, fold towards the floor. Fingertips down, step your feet back to plank. Plant your palms. Press the floor away in your plank. Plank can always be with your knees on the floor. Take a breath or 2 here. Or 3 or 4. Plank is awesome for that back and shoulder support. Feel like you're pressing the floor away from you. Child's pose. Flip your palms up towards the ceiling. Let your shoulders get a little rest. Maybe rock your head and your hips from side to side. Next, inhale, hands and knees, tabletop. Work on that little squeeze of elbows towards each other. And your next exhale, tuck toes, down dog. Step your feet forward or walk them forward. Forward fold. Next inhale, stretch all the way up to standing. And exhale, arms down by your sides. You'll grab your strap or skate noose. You can just hang it around the back of your neck so that it's reachable or keep it in one hand. step yourself to warrior two, left foot back, right foot forward. Take your skate noose into your hands. So your hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Thanks camera angle for not being helpful. You'll begin to tilt towards your side angle. You keep some tension in the strap, you can see that bit of it. Then reach towards your reverse warrior. So we're doing those same motions that we did before, just now with a little more strength happening through abdominals and your arms. Step yourself forward again. Take your right foot back. Hands on your strap or skate noose, a little wider than shoulder width apart. Keep a little tension in that as you begin to tip yourself forward. You want to make sure belly button's drawing towards spine. That was that little reset that I did. Then tilt to a reverse warrior. Lift up, step forward, release to a forward fold. Plant your palms down to step feet back to plank. And again, press the floor away in your plank. Feel your waist lift away from the floor. Feel your shoulder blades start to move as if they were in cat pose, so that will move away from each other. And settle back, child's posture. Bring your palms together, bend your elbows, thumbs come towards back of head or back of neck. You might wiggle your elbows a little bit further forward, give your hips a little wiggle, your head a little rock from side to side. You definitely breathe. And don't be shy about putting props underneath you to support you in this shape. Next inhale takes you up to hands and knees. You'll grab your blanket again, or towel, and set yourself up for a comfortable seat. And you'll grab your skate noose or strap again. Take it behind you. Hands are shoulder width or maybe slightly narrower, maybe slightly wider. You'll reach back with your hands, feel your shoulders draw back, center of your chest reach forward. As you exhale, you might take a little fold, maybe let your hands float away from the floor a bit behind you, maybe not. Lift yourself up if you folded. Bring your strap around in front of you. Just let it rest on your legs. You'll take your arms, right arm over left arm. You could use your skate noose for your hands so that you've got one in each hand. It's like having magical extendo arms. So you could hold there. You might move your hands away from your face and back towards your face. You might arch and round like cat-cow. You might circle or rock from side to side. You can basically take any movement that you would like. Anything that feels interesting or good for your body. You also could just hang out and breathe. Maybe just turn your head side to side a few times. It doesn't have to be these big dramatic movements. Switch the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. Switch your arms so that left arm is on top. Again, grab a hold of your skate noose or strap. Take a moment to show you what I mean. So it's just a reach across. And it can be as much distance in between your hands then as your skate noose or strap allows. And with yourself set up in that way, you'll start to move. I recrossed my legs the habitual way. It happens. Check in that you're not doing that all the time. It's good to change up patterns, especially considering the unevenness and imbalance in the hips for roller derby. You want to switch up and do those things that feel a little bit odd to you, opposite cross of the legs, stuff like that, to keep things in check so that you're not constantly dropping into your habitual patterns. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for your brain and a really good thing for your body. Hands behind your hips, again, they could be any distance together apart. You might use a lot more of that strap. And maybe you take that little fold forward, hands float away from the floor. Maybe you don't. You do breathe. Slowly back up. Place your strap or skate noose off to the side. And you will take your blanket or towel and one more time, roll it up. You want it rolled up so that it can run along the length of your spine. Now, You can set up in different ways. I usually leave a little space between the back of my pelvis and the blanket, so it's not right up there. Usually starts maybe around the bottom of my rib cage. That leaves me a little end to tuck under. And you can use your blocks or books to rest your thighs on. So when you bring soles of feet together, knees wide, sometimes your inner thigh muscles are still going to be trying to do work. They're not really willing to drop open, so it's nice to support them. Support yourself so that you can rest here. Breathe here. Allow your arms to be out by your sides. Just a gentle opening across chest in front of shoulders. And if your legs are more comfortable in a different position, take them there. Stretch them out, soles of feet on the floor. Rest. As you're ready, no rush, roll onto one side, make a pillow for your head with your bottom arm, and press yourself up to seated.